Welcome to Real Estate Profits with Purpose. I'm your host, Ian Boshoff, and here with me today is Jessica Couch. How you doing, Jessica?
Great. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for listening in and tuning in. If you're new to our show, our mortgage and real estate brokerage provides a streamlined white glove service approach with every client, ranging from first-time buyers, homeowners, real estate investors, emerging into the housing market. And when you work with us, we donate 10% of our profits to Sweet Dreams Foundation and or Operation Underground Railroad, since Sound of Freedom movie, if you haven't seen it. So thank you for those who have listened to the show and have contributed. And be sure to give us a call if you have questions during or after the show at 916-872-7177, or you can log on to promortgagerealty.com if you'd like to be a part of the cause or have questions. So Jessica.
Yes.
Before we get into our topic, which everyone wants to know what our topic is, right?
Yes.
Well, the topic today is going to be the ultimate guide to listing your home in this market.
Oh, this is going to be something good to listen into.
I know everyone, if you're tuning in, you don't want to miss this because Jessica has been doing this for a very long time. She is the queen of listing and buying. So you definitely don't want to miss this. So before we get into that, Jessica, why don't you give us a little rundown on your background into the business and how you got started?
Got licensed in 1999, when rates were just dipping down just below 8%. Bought my first house and thought, this is exactly what I want to do with my life. We had a brokerage back then that had our mortgage and real estate company just as we have. And I love having this white glove service. Everything is in-house. Great way to be able to help all of our customers and really give back at a really high level. And we're doing more than any other team I know out there with the package that we're able to offer.
Yeah, Jessica is the queen of mortgages, of real estate, actually. I'm the queen of, or actually king of mortgages. I don't want to say queen, but Jessica knows everything about real estate. So be sure to stay tuned to listen. And we want to kind of go over this topic and the ultimate guide to listing your home, and what do you do? And so we're going to cover kind of the beginner's approach and what Jessica does when she walks into a home. So what we have here is the first topic would be choose your agents wisely.
So true.
So what do you have to say about that, Jessica?
I would say very often I encounter somebody who says, are you the neighborhood expert? The answer is no, I am not. Because the home that I'm selling in Cameron Park, very often they're moving to Elk Grove to be close to their grandkids. Right. So I need to be pretty well versed in all neighborhoods as our team is. Not a neighborhood expert, but a market expert. And I would say you're king of strategy here. We need to get together on a call or in person so we know what the strategy is. If you're selling your house, what we need to get out of it to make that next move. This is not a one deal and then you're on your way. We're with you the entire process and keeping in touch with you. So it's really important that we have that strategy down. Got it.
And what are things that a person should look for with a realtor while picking a realtor? Because sometimes they want to interview 10, 15. Mm-hmm. How many do you think they should interview?
Very often I come to the table and they've interviewed 6 or 7 already.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I think it comes down to a really great value and then what you are doing for the customer. Everybody can pop it onto MLS and throw out some photos. We have an additional 250 platforms that this is going out to. We have some proprietary secrets where we can hit all of your neighbors. We can hit all the top agents. We often will offer a bonus to agents day before public gets to come in. We're really able to create a buzz. I mean, we figured out a way to create a buzz. We're spending our marketing dollars to create that buzz and get a crowd in. And I think if you have a team that doesn't do this amount of business, it's hard to have those resources available to be able to do all of that and then get all of the inspections covered as well. So we know what our liabilities are, which is the biggest problem I see with listings, that the seller doesn't know what their liabilities are. And they're caught really off guard when a buyer finds, you need a new roof, and nobody planned for that.
Got it. So would you say getting an inspection is important? So let's say, first off, we're trying to pick our agent.
Right.
And when we're trying to pick our agent, we're looking for what are they doing to market the property?
Correct.
What else would you want from a real estate agent that's kind of the status quo, and then what is it that you do above and beyond that makes you separate yourself from them?
We offer friends and family discount. I mean, I am all about a good value. And I know I hear a
Okay.
lot of agents say, I'm worth 6%. And I'm not doubting that. Maybe they are. I just like to bring a good value. And I know my vendors that we use, our roofer, our home inspector, our plumber, our handyman, our contractor, they're giving us and our customers the best deal. And that's what I'm out for. Yes, they offer great service, but they're also giving us best value. That's what I want to be able to offer as well.
Got it. So
Best value.
just because they're a popular face in the area doesn't make them the best choice, because ultimately that's going to end what your bottom line is going to be.
100%. That's what it comes down to, your bottom line.
Yeah.
Are you spending your money, or is the marketing, is the agent spending their money out of their pocket to make sure that your home is properly marketed?
Right.
And I'm heavily invested in this because I'm spending my money to make sure we're getting $7.99 for your property, or whatever that number is. So there's no reason for me to overlist and tell you a story
Yeah.
about what we're going to get, because my money's going into this.
Yeah.
Same
You're
as
vested.
I'm very invested.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd say more than the homeowner, because my dollars are going into this project.
So when you go into this house and you're assessing the property, there's normally like a walkthrough that you were talking
Absolutely.
about, right? And what do you do during that walkthrough? What are you looking for? What is the main purpose of a walkthrough?
Usually it's always to find any holes. We want to go through and make sure if there's something simple we could do or that needs to be attacked, we attack it. I've had things come up where there's a small hairline crack. We want to have that checked. We want to have it repainted. We want to have it retextured. We want to make sure we're disclosing that. We want to know if it was from the previous roof, which it often is. Have we replaced that? So those type of questions, and then anything that's going to help us, decluttering or taking things to storage, or even your
Yeah, that's
garage.
huge. That's huge.
So the walkthrough is for that purpose.
Got it. And have you been when you've done a walkthrough, what is the most I should say interesting and taken back moment you've had when you were doing a walkthrough? Was there anything crazy that you've seen on a walkthrough? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Let me think about this. What has been crazy? I would say what's crazy good is 9 times out of 10, I walk in, people have waited weeks to get me because they're so worried that they're going to have, 100 things on their list. And I walk in and say, we need to do 1, 2, and 3. And they say, oh my gosh, is that it? Because I was so worried. We were waiting weeks and trying to tie up all these projects. And my answer is always, let's get our inspectors in. And then if we need to handle any of these repairs,
Right.
we can bill it to escrow. I'll handle getting all of it done. You're not out a dollar. And we've got it all covered, and you don't really need to worry about anything. So I think that's the crazy good part. There's much less worry than most homeowners expect to have.
Yeah. And that's one thing, the inspections. How many inspections would you say is needed for when you're selling a home if the property's in a little iffy condition?
Oh, I'd say even if it's in great condition, I like to do a roof inspection, home inspection, pest inspection, and a HVAC inspection.
Got it.
So that we know what our liabilities are, and we can appropriately price for that and price a credit in if that's what's needed.
So you mentioned that this is really good information, by the way. This is great. You mentioned that there's inspections and you'd bill escrow. What are the costs expected to a normal homeowner if they're not dealing with someone like you, if they're just dealing with any agent? How much do they usually spend on inspections prior to listing their home?
Inspections and repairs are $2,500 to $7,500.
Wow.
That's what I'd say that's the norm. A lot of times it's that, 5,000 sort of in the middle mark. That's what most homes end up needing. And if we can get all of that billed to escrow and the homeowner's not out any money out of pocket, because a lot of times they have all of their money invested in this property.
Got it. So that's something, if you need to sell a home, usually people need money.
Yes.
And
yes.
so if they're tight on cash, they don't have a lot of options. Sometimes they can't do the inspections and whatnot, but then you're not prepared for, let's say you get in contract and the buyer comes in with an inspection and they whack you with like $10,000 of repairs.
You're blindsided
yeah,
at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes they want a price reduction or a renegotiation.
Right.
Or worst case scenario, they just want to back out entirely.
Right.
And that's the last thing you want, because once you're in escrow, you have these due diligence periods, from the buyer side.
Right.
And that takes sometimes 14 days. And And so now your house has been sitting on the market. If they want to back out, now you've eaten up 14 days of your contract and you kind of look like a stale listing. And
Not only that, but the other buyers are gone.
Yeah.
Let's say we had 5 offers and we took, offer from agent A and we didn't have any inspections. Now we're renegotiating. I don't like to renegotiate. I want to take all of the unknowns out of that we can for our sellers and make sure that we have all of the knowns in front of us and that we're not renegotiating. We can negotiate a good contract with all of those 5 or 6 buyers that are there. And we're still in a place where if you're priced appropriately, we're getting 5 and 6 offers.
and you're ahead of the ball because you're not going to get sidelined by something like a crazy inspection.
And I think this is what comes down to interviewing agents. This is a conversation I'll have. I'll say, what was the other agent charging you? Great. Did they go over inspection periods? And I usually hear, what's that? Well, let's talk about that. You could have up to 17 days per contract for your inspections. Do you want to be blindsided on day 16 because you didn't do all these inspections and they say, oh, we don't have the money for it? I'm like, that's not even a worry. I've got all that. Let's make sure you're not blindsided. I'm not protecting your interest unless I've got my money on the line and we're really invested in this. Otherwise, it's an opportunity for somebody to blindside you, renegotiate, and we don't want that.
Yeah, and that's very important. So remember, Jessica covers all of the inspections, and she can either bill them to escrow or make it so where you're not out of pocket when you're trying to list a property.
Right.
We've got more coming up on the show. We've got some interesting news from the Fed. We've got the jobs report coming in October. You don't want to miss this. So my question to everyone out there is, what percentage of buyers is saying they're waiting? And why? Waiting to buy a house and why? Out of 100%, what percentage is waiting?
Okay, I'm going to get my number ready.
All right, we'll be back after this.
If you or a family member are in the process of buying a home, then you'll want to hear this. Pro Mortgage and Realty has streamlined the home buying process, providing you with mortgage pre-approval and a top-performing real estate agent all under one roof. And if you call or text within the next 10 minutes to 916-872-7177, that's 916-872-7177, they will cover your closing costs. Pro Mortgage and Realty makes it easy. They will negotiate the best deals and save you thousands by using one company. From down payment assistance programs, DSCR loans, FHA and VA loans, and more. They cover all aspects of mortgage and real estate, from finding you the right finance programs to finding you the right home. Work with a company that can be with you throughout the whole home buying process. Call 916-872-7177 or visit ProMortgageRealty.com for more information. Work with the pros. Pro Mortgage and Realty. NMLS number 315319 and DRE number 017456667.
Sweet Dreams Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is to glorify God by spreading peace, hope, and love to families with medically fragile babies and children. They offer dream bedrooms to children battling life-threatening illnesses, and their Ruse Baby program creates an atmosphere that will lift the spirit of the child, where they can laugh, play, and let their inner light shine. To learn more about the Sweet Dreams Foundation, visit sweet-dreams.org. When you work with Pro Mortgage and Realty, you're supporting the Sweet Dreams Foundation. Partner with Pro Mortgage and Realty today to buy or sell a home and help support the Sweet Dreams Foundation to help more children in our communities. Call or text Jessica Couch of Pro Mortgage and Realty today at 916-532-8916. That's 916-532-8916, or visit ProMortgageRealty.com. Work with the pros. Pro Mortgage and Realty. NMLS number 351319 and DRE number 0174567.
Welcome back to Real Estate Profits. I'm your host, Ian Boshoff, here with Jessica Couch. How's everyone doing tonight? And Jessica, how are you doing?
Excited.
All right.
Excited about this market we're in right now.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the ultimate guide to listing your home. If you are thinking about it, you don't want to miss everything that we're talking about. We've spoken about how you choose your agents wisely, right? What to do with a walkthrough, what kind of inspections are coming into play when you're looking to sell a home,
right?
The cost involved, and how you, Jessica, get it around, kind of find a workaround so they don't have to pay for all these inspections to make these improvements. So some really great content we've got a ton of a lot more content coming up. But I did ask a question, is how many buyers are sitting on the sidelines right now waiting to buy, and why are they sitting on the sidelines? And what percentage are sitting on the sidelines? You want to take a guess?
I'm going to say 72%.
Dang.
Do I get to guess why? Or you want to give us the answer first?
Well, you can guess why. We're very we're at 65% of the buyers.
My first guess was going to be 60, but 72 felt like the number.
You're there. 72 is good. It's probably right anyway. And that's according to the National Association of Realtors, experiences and barriers for not buying a home. And that's 65%. Why do you think that?
Oh, they're waiting for rates to drop.
Just like everyone else.
Well, and I think we speak about this often, but I will tell you, we don't have a crystal ball here, but we've been through some market changes, right? We've done this 20 plus years, right? We've been through this a few cycles.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when I've given this advice before, I have people that have said, the market's going to change. We're going to sell our house. We're going to go rent. And then we're going to, come up on this market. And they are still renting.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people in that very situation. 12 years later, they're still renting because they've just been priced out. So I would hate to see our friends and family, and especially these first-time home buyers we're able to get in right now, they're really taking advantage of this market. They're using the buy down, the temporary buy down to get their rate down lower. Yeah. They're going to have equity when rates come down. And what's our projection right now with rates coming down? What are we looking at? It's not tomorrow, right?
Well, according to the Fed met yesterday, right? And so they basically said that they're, for the first time in 12 and a half 13 meetings, basically, this is the first time they haven't hiked them. Since January of 2022.
Well, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. That was the first. That's the first non-hike. Now, depending on what there was things that were said that were kind of alluding to, we're going to wait and see, and so they're not gun shy on hiking them again. But primarily, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I've been doing this for 25 years. I feel like rates are going to start. They're going to pause them. They're going to stay where they're at for the next 6 months to see what the economy is going to do. Come October 6th, there's going to be a jobs report that's going to really affect whether rates are going to go up or down.
Right.
And so they're always overstating the numbers, and they're always off by about 50,000 jobs every single time.
That's
12
a
and a half
lot of
times.
jobs.
Yeah. And so what that's going to do is if the unemployment is going to be higher, then rates are going to start tearing down a little bit, and you're going to see that we are emerging into our recession, which in my opinion, we're in it, but it takes a lot
Not
of
everyone
politics.
got the memo yet.
Yeah, not everyone got the memo yet. So
well, and don't you think as we see rates come down, we're going to see prices go up? That is just the natural law of physics, right? Like, one thing drops, the other thing comes up. So I have been sticking to your payment is going to be whatever.
Yeah.
Right? If your payment is $2,500, your payment will also be $2,500 as rates come down and prices go up.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to have a lower payment, there isn't a better time than now. The advantage to this known right now is we know rates are going to come down. We know that's going to push prices up, and that's going to give you more equity if you've purchased now or tomorrow, rather than waiting until next year when everyone is out there looking and you're in the same position. The difference is the same payment, no equity.
I feel exactly the same. I think we've got about a 12-month window tops it to get a deal on a house. Just to add to that, what the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, was saying, 39% were saying they were waiting for rates to drop. 26% said because of multiple offers. Oh. We saw an offer yesterday. You made the offer.
Oh,
and a response, and she's really good at getting these accepted. And this is no joke, but the response is, we got 16 other offers.
Oh, yes, we did see that one.
And
but we made another offer for that couple and we got it. I mean, we make sure that we were picking out a number one, number two, number three. Actually, their very number one is the one we were able to get into contract. Their number two was the one that ended up having, multiple offers. It was some crazy number.
Right.
But we ended up getting into contract, and that place had only been on the market for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Great flip. Definitely the best property. So I think it does matter who you're with and where you're shopping. There's definitely listings that have been out there for a minute. I don't limit our tours to just brand new listings.
Yeah.
I make sure that we're looking at anything that meets criteria because it's just as important to rule those out.
Okay. Well, good. Well, there you have it. 65% of people are sitting on the sidelines because either multiple offers, they don't think they can get in contract. 39% are saying waiting for rates to drop, which
get in line. Get in line.
Yep. And so we've been talking about the ultimate guide to listing your home, and spoke about choosing your agent wisely, a walkthrough on the property, kind of the improvements, the the inspections that you've got to do for the property. Tell us about, if I'm a buyer, if I'm a seller, and an agent's coming in, usually there's a thing called CMA. And
Correct.
that they throw around this word CMA, CMA. What is a CMA and why do you need it?
Comprehensive market analysis. And I'll tell you, often I find that someone will say, hey, I talked to, Benny down the street, with XYZ Realty, and he told me my house is worth $875,000. And I say, that's great. Here's what the comps actually are. It looks like and in this last situation, the comps were really 800. We went on the market at 799, and because of the remote location, we didn't end up getting an offer at that and had to drop the price. So I want to be really, really realistic. There is no value in me overshooting what your property is worth. I want to make sure we're being really realistic, again, because our money is going into your listing to make sure we're marketing properly. We're doing all of the inspections. We have a whole list of things that we do, but we don't overlist a property.
So a CMA consists of comps.
Correct. Comparable sales.
Comparable sales in the area to make sure you're not overlisting or underlisting.
Correct.
Now, do you want to underlist or do you want to overlist?
There is no such thing as underlist. When I see a bunch of these joke properties come on lately that are, auction sales, where they're bidding sales, where they're priced at, one of these just came out. It was priced at $399. I'm like, this neighborhood is $650.
Yeah.
So I think you get a million phone calls and a million bids on those. I don't think there's any such thing as listing too low. With that said, I want to make sure we're making something reasonable. However, we're not out to trick people. We want to make sure we're reasonable. But if we're priced correctly, we're going to get multiple offers, and then the buyers are competing against each other rather than you with the buyer. We want it buyer against buyer rather than the buyer trying to get in and you have the price too high.
Okay. All right. So we've got that. And so we've got the improvements listing presentation. So now if I've got a dated house, right, and I've got popcorn on my ceilings,
right,
and let's just separate this. There's one, it's a primary residence. I'm selling it as a primary residence, and then I've got another one that's like a duplex. It's mainly an investment property. Am I painting my house? What level of improvement? Let's say it's just basic. I've got Formica countertops. I've got, these white tile flooring, and I've got just some outdated items in there. And what do you suggest you do in a market like this for, say, a residence that someone's going to buy to live in it?
Clean it, stage it, get it on the market. Know what your liabilities are.
Yeah.
We just listed one recently, and the comparables told us that we could get about $50,000 more if we put 35 into it. My concern was spending that amount of time, and then what else goes in the market in between that for that small amount of money. These are not professional flippers. This is a family.
Yeah.
They have regular jobs. We went on the market at a very reasonable price on the lower end. We ended up with 8 offers. We ended up $20,000 over our asking price. So they got 15 and more, and they didn't do a darn thing.
Yeah.
We patched and painted a couple things, had some repairs done, minimal. Cleaned, staged the house. Everybody loved it. It was dated, but people want to come in and make those repairs.
Yeah.
And, make their own cosmetic changes themselves.
To their liking.
Correct.
Yeah. That's great advice. And so I'm assuming the same thing for investment property.
Oh, absolutely. I want to make sure that we have a good lease in order. Figure out if they're month to month. Make sure we have tenant estoppels there. Make sure we've talked with the tenants. That can really come back to get you real quick. So I make sure I go in with the tenants. I do a walkthrough. Anything that they find wrong with the property, I want to know about. Make sure we include in our inspections. Last thing you want is me showing up to your investment property, chatting with your tenant, and finding out that there's all these things that were not disclosed. That is the quickest way to kill a deal.
What's the best way to approach a tenant? So you want to sell, you don't want to freak them out because they're going to move, right? What do you say to a potential property you're trying to sell that is tenant occupied? How do you keep them from being nervous?
Oh, great question. Yeah.
Can you?
I think first I come in, especially with the duplex, and say, hey, we're listing the property at X. Would you be interested in purchasing it? Do you have family that may be interested in purchasing it for you or with you, where you could live here and then rent out the other side? Let's run numbers. Let's have a family meeting. If that doesn't work, then I look at their lease and make sure that they know what they're entitled to. They've been there more than a year. They get a 60-day notice. And then I do my very best to go out to our vendors within the area and property managers and try to help secure something else in case they need that.
This is important, guys. So what a lot of investors do when they buy a multi-unit, they're going to come in and they're going to want short tenancy so they can make improvements.
Right.
They can jack up the rent and increase cash flow.
Right.
Right. And so this is very important to listen to. So if you've got a property that you're looking to sell that as an investment property or primary, these are key details that you want. You don't want to dump in $20,000 on a house you're about to sell, right?
I certainly wouldn't with this timing right now.
Yeah.
As we're getting
In
so
this
close
market.
to the holidays,
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. I would suggest just we make sure it's clean, it's staged, our inspections are done, and we hit the market at a reasonable price. That's the best way to get multiple offers over asking.
Okay, tell me about staging.
Oh, well, we have the whole property cleaned, top to bottom, carpet cleaned as well. I mean, this house dated home I spoke of, the carpets were 150% better after I spent a good chunk of change having them professionally cleaned.
Wow.
But top to bottom cleaning, carpet cleaning. We removed a lot of the curtains. Everything was dialed, and we had it professionally staged. And the house looked. I mean, when we listed it as a dated home, people were coming in saying, "Am I at the right house?" I mean, the staging made it. Just changed everything. It looked amazing.
So it's imperative to have staging. today.
Imperative. Yeah.
What's the cost of staging? Maybe we'll come up and after the break and talk about that, because people are thinking, oh wow, staging's going to cost $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 depending on the size of the house. We're going to talk a little bit more about
Perfect.
that, the ultimate guide on how to list your home. Before we break, I want a little brain teaser. What is the average time for a recession in a market?
Ooh.
How long does a recession take place?
Okay.
Are we in one? Text your answers to 916-872-7177. We'll be back after this.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
If you or a family member are in the process of buying a home, then you'll want to hear this. Pro Mortgage and Realty has streamlined the home buying process, providing you with mortgage pre-approval and a top-performing real estate agent all under one roof. And if you call or text within the next 10 minutes to 916-872-7177, that's 916-872-7177, they will cover your closing costs. Pro Mortgage and Realty makes it easy. They will negotiate the best deals and save you thousands by using one company. From down payment assistance programs, DSCR loans, FHA and VA loans, and more. They cover all aspects of mortgage and real estate, from finding you the right finance programs to finding you the right home. Work with a company that can be with you throughout the whole home buying process. Call 916-872-7177 or visit ProMortgageRealty.com for more information. Work with the pros. Pro Mortgage and Realty. NMLS number 315319 and DRE number 017456667.
Welcome back. We are the Real Estate Prophets. I'm your host, Ian Boshoff, and here with me is Jessica Couch. Jessica.
Hello.
We've been talking about the ultimate guide to listing your home, and one thing I want to just touch base is 10% of the profit of our show. So anything that, if any buyer or seller comes to our show and asks us for our service, because we do real estate, we do mortgages, and what we do is anything generated income-wise, 10% of our profit goes to Sweet Dreams Foundation.
Right.
Or the Operation Underground Railroad. Real quick, just a real quick brief rundown of what Sweet Dreams does and what they do. I said two things at the same time that meant the same thing. Sorry about that. What is it?
We do dream bedrooms for children battling life-threatening illness. I've worked with the organization for some time. You're joining our board as well because you've been so helpful with the Real Estate Profits and getting the word out, which I think is just as important as raising money, is getting the awareness out there about great nonprofits.
Yeah, and if they choose to donate aside from that,
Sure.
should they call you?
Absolutely. 916-532-8916. I'll take $5. I'll take your 5 minutes. If you want to come join us in a bedroom, you want to bring lunch, you want to be camera crew, come on down. We have a need for all of it.
It's a great cause.
Yeah,
Love
it's a
it.
lot of fun.
Love it. Okay. So we're getting into a lot of wonderful, amazing things. And before that, our brain teaser question is: average time of a recession. How long does a recession take?
My guess is 3 years.
3 years.
From beginning to finish.
Okay. So maybe a confusing question, but that is a good guess. We have 3 years is what you're asking. Right now it's 2 years. 22 months is what it takes to get. So once you're identified into a recession, and once it's identified that you're out of the recession, is 22 months.
Interesting.
So far, they say we have not been in a recession yet.
That was my next question. Like, when are we identifying?
I don't understand. I don't understand. Food costs are like, what, 20, 30% more?
At least.
And so, so what's happening is once the Fed starts stopping increasing rates, that means they're catching up with inflation. And then when we are in a recession, that means that they're going to have to lower interest rates to spark the economy, right?
Right.
So once that happens, they've done a ton of spending with the Ukraine, you name it, they've been spending it. And so they have to increase rates to keep up with the spending.
Right.
And the debt. And so they have to fuel the economy and spark it. And so this is the only way they can do it. Last time there was a big refi boom. It won't be quite as big, but rates are probably going to start coming down in a year. They're gonna be steady for the next 6 months. So when they do, they're gonna drop them slowly, and it's gonna take some time. So if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy and wait until rates drop, the best you're gonna see is maybe 0.25% for 6 months. In 6 months, right? And then the next time you're gonna see a year has passed, maybe another quarter, or maybe a quarter, maybe a half has dropped. That is not enough to move the needle and make you jump off the sidelines. So by that time, you've eaten up about 2 years. The amount of equity you've gained is probably on average like 10 to 12% over the course of 2 years.
Right.
You buy a $500,000 house. What is 10% of 500,000? 50, right? And so you've lost 50 grand worth of equity in 2 years.
And you've been paying someone else's mortgage this whole time. And that money's just bye-bye.
And that's being reserved. That's 5% a year, right? Roughly.
Right.
And we've seen double digits, over the past 8 years, 9 years. So it's still going up because of the shortage of housing. Granted, they've been building, but it is still going up. So it's very important. If you're sitting on the sidelines, you are better get a nice cushy chair, a nice cushion, because you're going to be sitting on the sidelines for a long time. So I want to just emphasize homeownership as more than just a benefit of getting that equity, right? You have a tax benefit.
Right.
That is why the wealthy own real estate, because you have a lot of tax incentives.
Very true.
And then you're putting something into a long-term investment. It's not a get-rich-quick thing unless you're in the flipping business and you're really good at it.
Right.
Or if you're just one big developer with millions in the bank. It's a long-term play, right?
Yep.
You're going to see your profits over 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Right.
And then you can double your money, right? Whatever you end up paying for, you're going to double that thing in about a year. So we were getting back to this. I'm getting off subject, but let's talk about the listings, the ultimate guide to listing your home. We've been talking about how you choose your agents, choose them wisely, the walkthroughs of the properties, the inspections, what a CMA is, and the improvements that you need or not to need, which that you need or don't need, and which you don't need, right, in this market. So let's talk about. We were talking about the staging, and you say that's a must that we have. How much does staging cost?
On average, $2,500 to $5,000, depending on house size.
Okay.
That's something we can also build to escrow. Okay. Same as getting your house clean top to bottom, making sure that the landscaping is primed, and all of those small repairs that often need to be done to get a quality product to the market.
Got it.
We are not listing junk.
Yeah.
And I walk into a lot of junk with buyers that I simply wouldn't put my name on. I want to make sure we have a quality product coming to market. I think it's real easy to walk into a vacant house and just slap it on MLS and get some photos with your cell phone and call it a day. And
Yeah, with your iPhone.
that is not the professional job that one needs to make sure that the home is marketed correctly so that you can get top dollar.
So let me get this straight. You're paying for inspections, or
Correct.
at least billing, having escrow having those vendors bill escrow,
Correct.
meaning this is what that means. You don't need to pay them out of your pocket. You can choose to do so. You pay them at closing. So Jessica has contacts that will let those vendors that do all the inspections bill escrow. Their invoice sits in escrow until you sell. You also have stagers.
Correct.
Again, same thing. Anyone doing improvements on the property that are a must based on the inspections, those can be billed to escrow, or at least a portion of them.
Right.
And I mean, that's a lot, right? And if you don't have that type of connection, have those type of vendors and contractors that are willing to do that, you're paying all of that stuff out of pocket.
Yeah, and typically $5,000 to $7,500 to get your house ready to go.
Ready to go, yeah. Okay, got it. So we have the staging. We have a declutter, I think you spoke about. So
Yes.
what's the biggest problem you've seen?
Where, grandma is moving in with the kids and we have 40 years of knickknacks.
Knickknacks.
Yes.
Like tchotchkes
Yep.
and trinkets.
Lots of those.
Lots
Lots of those. So better to move those either to a storage unit if they're going to stay in a storage unit and there's not room at the kids' house, or move everything into the garage. Host a yard sale. We can help with an estate sale, depending on what your situation is. We've got vendors for whatever the need is.
Yeah, the only people that care about the garage are the guys.
Yeah.
We see the garage. All we need to see is that there is a garage.
Right.
And we look at the backyard.
Yeah.
That's all we care about. Backyard, garage, we're good. So if you have a lot of clutter, you need to just jump the gun automatically. You're going to need to do it. What
Right.
about family photos?
So my feeling with this, and I know I get mixed reviews on this all the time, but I think family photos are great. When I walk into a house, and I did this yesterday, it wasn't the house that my buyers chose, but I walked in, they had these adorable photos, their wedding and the progression of their family and each pregnancy. And I thought, this family's adorable. They love living here. They had all their bicycles lined up out back.
Yeah.
I thought, I like this family.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like to have that warm, fuzzy feeling when I walk into a house to know a happy family lives here.
Yeah, they can envision that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It depends
so
on how good the photos are too.
Very true, very true. But I've walked into homes where it's just an obnoxious amount of photos that need to be minimized.
Okay, got it. How do you just say, what we need to do is take off this picture of you guys with your shirts off on the beach and hugging each other, and maybe tone it down a little bit. But
I do tastefully decide which should stay and which should go.
Okay. So we got cleaning's a must. It needs
Absolutely.
to smell and look clean, and I know you love cleaning, and that's a great thing.
My superpower.
Now, when do you list, right? So we got a market where it's kind of interesting,
Right.
It's in a position where it's either a buyer or seller's market, depending on what price point you are at, what neighborhood
Very
you're
true.
at. Tell me about when is the best time to list a property? What time of the year? When should you kind of maybe hold off on listing a property, or should you? I mean,
Right.
these are some questions I've got, and I'm sure everyone else needs to get answered.
My personal feeling on this is as we get close to Halloween, I don't put things on the market unless we have to. If somebody passed away, or there's a situation, there's some family situation that forces them to sell right then we'll go on the market. But from October, mid-October, especially end of October through the beginning of the following year, I wouldn't put anything on the market that we don't have to.
Got it.
Our spring starts in January. Sometimes it's January 1st, sometimes it's January 15th. Sort of depends on what the weather's doing and where our market is. But that's when I take all of those listings that we didn't make the cutoff date. We just weren't ready for whatever reason. We hit the ground running come January. And sometimes those end up going on February 1st. But that's realtor spring.
Yeah. So 2 months of downtime, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All of November, all of December. That's really family and holiday time. And we're out with buyers. I mean, that's where we're out getting deals, because there are a lot of properties that weren't listed correctly that now are doing price reductions. They needed to sell, but they weren't at the price that was going to sell.
Right.
And now we're here for a deal. And that's where we're picking up bargains. November, December, I'm just out with buyers exclusively picking up deals. And that fourth quarter is always really busy.
So when you're looking to say you want a house, you're selling because you want to move up, you want to change the size of the home that you live in, or you want to actually size down. Would you say what if you're in the situation where you need to buy contingent, right?
Oh, right.
And so you buy contingent upon sale. So that means that you get in contract on a new home with the contingency that you're going to sell your old home.
Right.
So what if that's right now, right? And we're going in October.
Yeah, I would say we get in right now so that
Yeah.
we can get your house marketed. We can go out and shop, and I can write an offer for you, but we need to make sure that we have within our offer that your home is going on the market within 3 days. Typically, we're not going to get more than 7 to 10 days in this market to get your home into contract to make that buy happen.
Got it.
So we have a short period of time if that's something that you're looking to do. We really need, this is back to strategy, king of strategy. We need to make sure that we really have a tight strategy on what we're doing so we can make it work.
Got it. So you can go look for houses, but it's best to get your house show ready that you're trying to sell and get it on the market, regardless if you found a house or not.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if anyone is interested in working with you, Jessica, how do they get a hold of you? And what is your email? What is your phone number? Just plug it in here.
Yeah, call or text 916-532-8916. Always available through email too, but I think most people prefer to call or text. We're available 7 days a week. We've got a team ready to help with everything.
That phone number again?
916-532-8916.
Okay, and also if you have any questions during the show, log on to promortgagerealty.com or after the show, and we'll be happy to answer you, call you after the show, and discuss what you need. So we've talked over the price and listing and time frame when to buy. Price we kind of breezed over a little bit. I want to sell my house quick, right? And in this market, you're seeing a lot of price reductions on some houses, right? The sweet spot I've noticed, and I think you can attest to, is anywhere between the $400,000 to $700,000 range.
Absolutely, that is the spot that everyone's looking.
Yeah, and so are those houses sitting? If they're listed too high,
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about
Yes.
that.
So we were just out with buyers at 450, actually 2 of them, 2 days in a row. And we had over 20 homes to look at 450. Several of them had been sitting more than 3 weeks. So really prime opportunity. These were homes that were not priced correctly to begin with. They were priced too high, and it really opened up a lot of options for our buyers.
Got it. So don't list your house too high, folks.
Yeah.
And if you have questions on the show, or if you'd like to speak with Jessica, you can go to promortgagerealty.com or text 916-872-7177. When is the date that you may see rates drop?
Oh, it's a good question.
It's coming up in October. We'll be back after this.
I'm Jessica Couch. When you're buying or selling your next home, work with an experienced team that knows the business, a local team that knows the market, and that has the skill set to take care of every single detail. We will get you top dollar if you're selling, and we'll help negotiate the best deal if you're buying, all without spending a dollar out of your own pocket. Work with Pro Mortgage and Realty. At Pro Mortgage and Realty, we cover those out-of-pocket expenses like inspections, appraisal, and help with your closing costs. It's our commitment to make your next real estate transaction easy and stress-free as possible. We're not all about business. At Pro Mortgage and Realty, we've developed deep roots in the community. We've partnered with local nonprofits, and we give back. Come work with the team that's got your back. Call or text today. Jessica Couch of Pro Mortgage and Realty, 916-532-8916. Or visit us at promortgagerealty.com. Work with the pros.
NMLS 351319, DRE 01745667.
Sweet Dreams Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is to glorify God by spreading peace, hope, and love to families with medically fragile babies and children. They offer dream bedrooms to children battling life-threatening illnesses, and their Ruse Baby program creates an atmosphere that will lift the spirit of the child, where they can laugh, play, and let their inner light shine. To learn more about the Sweet Dreams Foundation, visit sweet-dreams.org. When you work with Pro Mortgage and Realty, you're supporting the Sweet Dreams Foundation. Partner with Pro Mortgage and Realty today to buy or sell a home and help support the Sweet Dreams Foundation to help more children in our communities. Call or text Jessica Couch of Pro Mortgage and Realty today at 916-532-8916. That's 916-532-8916, or visit promortgagerealty.com. Work with the pros. Pro Mortgage and Realty. NMLS number 351319 and DRE number 01745667.
Welcome back. We are the Real Estate Profits with Purpose. I'm here with Jessica Couch. This is Ian Boshoff.
Good evening.
We've been talking about the ultimate guide into listing your property and what to do, how to do it, who to deal with.
Yeah, good stuff.
Talking about choose your agents wisely, what a walkthrough is, a listing presentation, the CMA, improvements on what you need to do, if you need to do them, staging, declutter, cleaning, the time frame when to list, and of course the overall price.
Right.
If you missed this, feel free to log on to promortgagerealty.com and we can give you kind of a synopsis. We can email you the details if you would like. Also, if you have any questions during or after the show, 916-872-7177. Feel free to text or call. We've talked about pretty much everything revolving a listing a property.
Yeah.
And a lot of people list a property because either A, they need to find another property to buy.
Right.
Or B, they want to cash out and pay off some of the debt.
Right.
So I just want to touch on an article that is familiar to that situation. And this is by CNN. U.S. debt rises to $33 trillion as the government shutdown looms.
Dang.
$33 trillion. The government shutdown looms. It could sour the sentiment and a blow to the economy, already dealing with the high gas prices, auto work strikes, and elevated inflation, with some saying it even increased the possibility of a recession, which I think we're already in.
Right.
A media report said Fitch sent Congress wake-up call after the debt limit flight early this summer. The ratings agency downgraded the U.S. sovereign debt from AAA to AA in August, citing the nation's mounting debt and the major reasons behind its decision. This is CNN. The gross national debt has grown an alarming pace since then by $1 trillion in the last 3 months alone. Okay.
Dang, did we not learn a lesson previously?
Yeah, here we go. Spend. With more than $10 trillion of interest costs over the next decade, the compounding fiscal cycle will only continue to do damage to our kids and our grandkids. So this is something that happens. Everyone forgets, and they wait for the crash, and either the banks get forgiven or the start over, the reset happens, right? Which it's probably is going to happen. So So this happens is we're seeing tons of debt. I'm seeing a lot of people with debt. The way we're getting around this in situations where people have mounted debt to where you can't catch up to it because you've got these credit cards hitting 20, 30%, right? And you've got, say, I saw someone that had 23 credit cards. I counted yesterday.
Oh, my word.
They wanted to get pre-qualified, right? They made $50,000, 23 credit cards. They can only qualify for $125,000 because they have 23 credit cards. Well, guess what? So she's got a lot of equity, and I'm just giving us an example of what's happening. She's got a lot of equity, so she has about $400,000 equity.
That's a great position.
Got about $100,000 in debt.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
And what is that debt running on credit cards at 27%?
That debt is the payments total $3,700 a month.
That's a mortgage.
Right.
And then some.
So what we're doing is we are putting the house on the market, possibly, if she wants to push forward with this process. We're going to pay off all of that debt. Okay. She's going to live with her friend, and her score is going to skyrocket because she's at like 640, which is still lendable. Even 580 is lendable when you work with us. But her score is going to skyrocket, but her debt-to-income ratio is going to become a little bit normal.
Right.
Now that $150,000 or whatever I said that she can qualify for, now that number can go up to like $230,000. Right? She'll still have enough cash to put for a down payment. All of her debt is paid off. Because once you get in that vicious cycle, you start racking up credit cards, you're making the minimum payment, you are done.
Agree.
You're done.
Yep.
You're either declaring bankruptcy or doing a cash out refinance.
Right.
So what she's doing is, she doesn't love the house, so she's gonna cash out and sell and pay off that debt. So some people, if you're looking to list a property and you're looking to buy, you may want to wait a month, or we can do what's called a rapid rescore.
Oh, that's been really helpful with so many of our buyers.
Yeah.
for you to run that. This goes back to strategy,
Yeah.
making sure that they're getting the best deal and the best rate, and they get that when they have the best credit score,
Yeah.
and they can lower their debt to income ratio. It's all strategy.
It is, and the rapid rescore, you pay down. So normally, if you pay down a credit card, it takes like 30 days for it to reflect in your score, right? Because
I don't have time for that. We're out making offers, Ian. How will we get around this?
Well, let me tell you, Jessica, what you have to do is do a rapid rescore. You call a guy like me, Ian, 916-872-7177, and I go over what we do is called a rapid rescore. We get an updated statement. We show what it is, show what that balance is. I get a letter from the creditor. I send it into the bureaus. Within 72 hours to 48 hours, I can get that score updated, and it can reflect on your credit score, where usually it takes 30 days. So if you're in the market to buying, or if you're in the market to selling and you have another property to buy,
right,
this is a good thing to talk about to a loan guy, not just me, anyone else. So be sure you're open, and that credit score is really going to impact your interest rate. And especially right now, you want to make sure you're getting the lowest interest rate possible.
Right.
Rates are, FHA in the mid sixes, but conventional, you're looking at the mid sevens. So we want to be sure you're getting that best rate. So,
right.
We've been talking about the price on the listings and whatnot, but what about a plan for reduction? Let's say you didn't price this thing right.
So glad you asked.
Yeah, what do you do there? What if it's not selling?
We typically hit the market Wednesday. We do all this marketing. We do open houses Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We take all the offers on Wednesday. If we don't have any offers, it is an immediate price reduction. And we've talked about that ahead of time. There's not a blanket.
How many days?
7 days.
7 days.
Go on the market Wednesday. Following Wednesday, if we don't have an offer, time for a cut. So we've had a plan ahead of time, depending on price and our conditions of where we are and all those circumstances. But we've got a plan ahead, and then we drop the price. Let's say that's $10,000. We remarket everything, all of our platforms, full new traffic report, and we're going out to a whole lot of places and a whole lot of people, and everybody gets the memo that it's price drop. Whole thing starts over again. Open house, open house, open house. Offer due Wednesday. If we don't have an offer, which I haven't seen because we're pricing things appropriately, but then we drop it again.
Okay, so you said open house, open house, open house. What's your opinion on open house?
Oh, we are out to get all of the neighbors that may have children, which often is the case, by the way. They may have children, they may have family members that they want to get into this property, or they may know somebody in their circle of friends that wants to live in this neighborhood.
Got it.
So great resource. We want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned when it comes to finding a buyer for your property.
And Jessica is different than most agents. She will literally print up flyers and go to work, which a lot of agents are scared of.
I hear this all the time.
Do a thing called door knocking. Has anyone heard of it? No. Now Jessica's the queen of door knocking. I mean, you just kill it. I mean, how many doors do you knock on when you have a new listing?
Average 200. I mean, I love meeting new people, and I find the majority of the time, people that are in the neighborhood will tell me how long they've been there, what they love about the neighborhood. They're a really great resource for me to meet. I hear this. Door knocking is bad-mouthed all the time, and I'm like, you're doing it wrong. My goal is to make friends with all the neighbors. That's what I'm here to do, and then it's easier for me to sell this property.
If you are an agent and you're struggling out there and you're not getting business and you're looking for a team to hop on, Pro Mortgage and Realty is kind of, we've got some serious killers here, and Jessica Couch is one of them. How do they get a hold of you, Jessica?
916-532-8916. And I'd say the biggest portion of being the team here is really having that strategy with you, Ian, and with our lending partners, so that we have the strategy and we're able to get our buyers, not just into a good property, but into a good loan product as well.
Yeah, we do have a lot. We have down payment assistance, 0 down payment. We've got a Chinoa grant, which offers a grant. There is some red tape behind those grant programs. You can only make a certain amount of money. We can go down to a 580 FICO score. If you think your credit's awful, you're embarrassed to call anybody, don't be. I've seen it all. 25 years of this, I've seen every single credit. I'm the credit proctologist in these days here. So, basically, give us a call, 916-872-7177. Be sure to log on to promortgagerealty.com. And that is pretty much what you need to do to be a successful agent or get a home at a good price.
Yes, absolutely.
And sell your home at a good price. Thank you for listening. And we are the Real Estate Prophets.